Well, the biggest gain in nearly 3 decades, a key inflation indicator rising 3.4% in May from a year ago as costs continue to surge in the U.S. Here now, Kristin Tate, author of The Liberal Invasion of Red State America. Kristin, thanks for being with us today. So you've got a piece in The Hill that says President Biden is at the point of the economic point of no return. Tell us what you're talking about here.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing play out, Brian, is the textbook definition of inflation. There's just too much cash out there chasing a limited supply of goods. When Biden took office, he immediately spent $1.9 trillion. He now wants to spend another $4 trillion on a misleadingly named infrastructure bill, plus new social spending. And when I say spend, I mean the government is just creating money out of thin air. We cannot keep foolishly spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars every year with no consequences. We're looking at the potential of 1970s style stagflation if we stay on this route. Inflation grew by 5% in May. That's the largest increase in nearly 13 years. And consumers are noticing it. I mean, the price of housing, gas, cars, food, it's all up significantly. But here's the thing. Inflation has a very simple solution. Stop money printing and stop out of control spending. We also need to get people back to work, of course, because the generous federal unemployment benefits and the stimulus payments have really reduced the available labor pool.
Kristin, what gets me here is how nonchalantly the president treats this issue. He talked about it in his briefing earlier this week. It's always just, it's going away. It's transitory. Somebody who's been in Washington that long should know better. He's been there during the worst of it. That, to me, is the reason why we might be at a point of no return, because we're not taking a serious problem seriously.
That's exactly right, Brian. And look, by the time many Americans realize just how bad things are, it might be too late to reverse course. People need to realize inflation hurts the poor worst. And, you know, people on fixed incomes, right? These are folks who still have to fill up their cars with gas, who still have to go to the grocery store to get food. I mean, 40% of the dollars in circulation right now were printed in the last 12 months. It's out of control. And meanwhile, productivity is dropping and has dropped in this country over the last year. And then making matters even worse is that supply chains were severely disrupted because of COVID over the last year. So, you know, with commodities like livestock and food, these commodities are becoming more scarce, right? And there's a lot of cash out there chasing them, just driving up the price even more.
You talked about the runaway spending, Kristin. The president talked about his infrastructure plan this week. It was supposed to be bipartisan. We were looking for something that might be slimmed down a little bit. I think the story coming out of that was, I want everything that I want, and everything we're talking about in terms of bipartisanship is window dressing. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, I'm not optimistic on this. It seems like the Democrats are not willing to budge. But you know what? I expect the Republicans to cave. It seems like the only thing that the Democrats and the Republicans in D.C. can seem to agree on these days is just spending more taxpayer money. So I think we're going to see a lot of people continuing to pull their funds out of the U.S. dollar and invest in precious metals, invest in cryptocurrencies. Smart people will get out of the U.S. dollar, because if we keep spending like this, Brian, there could be a real fiscal consequence, a real fiscal catastrophe in this country. I mean, we may not be the world's reserve currency anymore if we keep on this track. It's really scary.
Not sure if Republicans will cave, but it seems to me that the ones in these negotiations got played over the past several weeks. Kristin Tate, really appreciate your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.